I mentioned AstraZeneca's results just now. It's not just global giants like them that contribute to what is a very successful life sciences sector for the UK. And new research suggests that the industry could add almost £3 billion to the economy by 2023, regardless of how Brexit turns out. Well, Bidwells is a leading property advisor to the science and tech sector and says 20,000 jobs could be added in the Oxford and Cambridge tech cluster alone. Patrick McMahon is senior partner at Bidwells and joins us now. Patrick, very good afternoon to you. So how do you arrive at these numbers?
Well, we surveyed the top 50 global science and technology companies, and we asked them what their growth, amongst other things, what their growth plans were. And there was an overwhelming interest in investing in the UK. And what we have here, which is special, what they're looking for is our advance in innovation, science and technology, and our research.
And this is despite the fact that the European Medicines Agency, for example, is relocating post-Brexit.
I mean, that's clearly I think we'd all prefer it to be otherwise. But what they're really focusing on is what's really, really important in the UK and what we're excellent at. So Cambridge and Oxford are the two top research universities on the planet. And it's the people who come out of that and the research that those two core clusters generate that these people want to be around.
So what needs to be done for this boost to actually happen, for these jobs to be created?
Well, it won't happen on its own. Certainly we've got to deal with the infrastructure problems that we have, and we need the government to get behind a cohesive infrastructure plan and the local authorities to really pull together and to allow and to assist these innovation districts to emerge and all of the other things that they need, including housing, rail, etc.
So more planning flexibility then, for example?
Yes, indeed.
But I mean, the Oxford-Cambridge Expressway, the government said it wants to go ahead. It looks like the whole thing's going to be blocked by wildlife protesters, doesn't it?
Well, it could. Part of it's already in. The Varsity line is something that was closed in the 60s. So opening it up again looks very likely. Unfortunately, it'll be sort of 2029 before it's operating.
That's the rail route, but the car route as well, the road?
And the road, that'll be earlier. But I think as we move forward on looking at the environment and looking at how we move around, I think the rail is the overriding important one.
What about the fact that Cambridge in particular is already pretty crowded now? I mean, the house prices have been on an absolute tear. There's not a lot of new housing capacity being added right now, is there? No, and we need a lot more, and Cambridge needs to access some of the towns around it that where people can commute in a sustainable way by preferably rail. But it needs to expand its area, and we need to get more housing and more science space in both Cambridge and Oxford. And what are the sort of businesses that you think might take advantage of these expansions? I mean, is it going to be the big boys like AstraZeneca, or will it be smaller companies, even startups?
Most of the big boys are looking for the little ones. It's the startups, it's the ideas that are coming out of these brilliant minds in these universities. And that's why they're going there. AstraZeneca have moved to Cambridge in order to find these small startups and to nurture and fund them. So it'll be driven from the bottom up, but that's why these big companies are interested. Of
course, some people, I mean, Oxford and Cambridge to a lot of the rest of the country are in the southeast of England. And apologies to folk in Cambridge for saying that, but that's how a lot of the rest of the country will perceive it. And they'll say, well, hang on, can't we just spread the wealth more widely across the country?
And I think it will. I mean, areas like Manchester and Edinburgh have wonderful research. You need a research base to really spread this activity. You need to form clusters, so you can't really take it where there isn't excellent research. But we're brilliant in this country at that, and there's opportunities right across the UK.
And given what you've been saying about how a lot of things need to happen for us to get this kind of boost, how optimistic are you on a scale of 1 to 10 that the stars will align?
I'm really optimistic, actually. It's so important for our economy, and we need some good news. And it's not just the 20,000 jobs in Oxford and Cambridge and the $3 billion of investment. It's the implications of it. Technology will take us into a new world, and things like life sciences and prevention of diseases rather than cure. These are huge things for the UK to lead on.
Patrick McMahon, got to leave it there. Thanks for joining me.